Our lives are journeys with a lot of promise, but sometimes invisible obstacles get in the way. These aren't outside problems. They're deeply held views that we don't even realize we have. Imagine getting rid of these shackles, finding deep inner freedom, and making your dreams come true. The deep knowledge of the past gives us a clear way to understand these limiting patterns and change them. This path starts inside us, by opening our minds to the truth of who we are, and showing us the way to a life with meaning and peace. Many times, we miss the most important truth. Your worth is not something you earn. It's part of who you are. A key part of real freedom is this deep knowledge. A lot of us spend our whole lives looking for approval from other people, from our accomplishments, from our things, or from the outside world. We hold ourselves to impossible standards and always feel like we're not good enough or full. This never-ending striving leads to a never-ending cycle of stress and disappointment, since outside events can't give or take away true value. Imagine a valuable gem that shines on its own, without anyone else noticing. You too have a natural glow, a whole and perfect spirit that has always been there, unaffected by the ups and downs of life. Realizing this inherent goodness means realizing that your potential is not limited by mistakes you've made in the past, problems you're facing now, or how other people see you. Similar to the vast sky, it has no limits and can hold many stars. When you really understand this, you stop living from a place of lack and start using your inner resources in a powerful way. To grow this knowing, you have to look inside, quiet the voices of doubt, and listen to the steady, calm knowledge that lives inside you. When you do this, you treat yourself with the same care and kindness you would give to a close friend. Every breath you take and every second you live confirms how valuable you are. You don't have to show anything to anyone, not even yourself. Start to believe that you are naturally worthy and that you have many talents that are just ready to be discovered. This way of thinking gives you the strength to go after your goals, not because you need to fill a gap, but because you are full of possibilities. This knowledge frees you from constantly looking for approval from other people, letting your real self shine through naturally and brightly. It's like life is a river that flows and changes all the time. There is nothing that stays the same at all. The deep truth that everything can change is not something to be sad about. It is a source of freedom and hope. Many of our problems come from fighting this natural flow, holding on tight to what is, being afraid of what might happen next, or being sad about what has already happened. We put up mental walls around our experiences, desperately trying to hold on to good times or push away bad ones. But all we do is get stuck in a cycle of pain and anger. However, when we fully accept that life is temporary, we unleash an amazing ability to change and bounce back. The hard times and problems that seem impossible to solve right now will end in the end. Like winter turns into spring and night turns into day, the way things are now won't last forever. When you learn this, you can handle life's ups and downs with more ease and grace. It teaches you that every ending is also a new starting, and that every loss is the start of something new. You can learn to accept change as a chance to grow and change instead of being afraid of it. Imagine a caterpillar that dissolves completely in its cocoon before it comes out as a butterfly. It can only change totally because it lets go of its old form. Like everything else, you have the power to change and grow. Your position, your abilities, and who you are all always changing. This concept tells you to let go of rigid expectations and let life happen as it does. It makes you want to change, come up with new ideas, and find strength when things are changing. When you accept that everything changes, you let go of the heavy weight of hanging on. You can then flow with life as natural flow, and welcome the endless opportunities for growth that lie ahead. True suffering doesn't come from the problems we face in life, but from how we handle them, especially when we hold on to certain results, wants, and experiences. Events in the outside world can be good or bad, but what makes simple pain into deep suffering is our internal response. How strongly we want things to be a certain way, or how strongly we fight what is. Think about someone who is caught in a quick rainstorm. It's just water falling from the sky when it rains. One person might complain about how bad they feel, how much they wish the sun was out, and how their clothes are wet. Someone else might just open their cover or smile and enjoy the cool breeze, knowing that it will pass soon. The rain is the same for both, but how they feel about it is very different. The difference is in how you feel about it. The first person is attached to the idea of a sunny day, of being dry and comfortable, and when reality doesn't match their assumption, this attachment makes them unhappy. This deep spiritual understanding shows that letting go of what we want and what we expect is the only way to be truly free. It's not about not caring about life. It's about being aware of our wants and dislikes without letting them control us. Of course, you feel pain when your dream doesn't come true, a relationship stops, or your plans go wrong. But the long-lasting pain and sense of being trapped often come from holding on to what should have been, or not being able to accept what is. It is very helpful to learn how to notice these attachments and gently recognize them without feeding them. It lets you fully feel your feelings and recognize your pain, but then it lets go of the hold of your suffering. This doesn't mean avoiding problems. It just means facing them with a mind that isn't so full of want and dislike. When you realize that your peace doesn't rely on everything outside of you being just right, you feel a huge sense of inner freedom. To make your mind less easily upset and to find happiness even during life's natural storms, you learn that you have the power to choose how you react. The never-ending search for perfection is a heavy chain that keeps us from living and showing who we really are. We often have a harsh judge inside us that is always comparing ourselves to an impossible standard. We think that we have to be perfect in every part of our lives, including how we look, what we do at work, our relationships, and even just who we are. This constant striving makes me feel like I am not good enough and gives me a lot of worry. It makes us hide who we really are, censor our thoughts, and avoid taking chances because we're afraid of failing. But spiritual knowledge shows us a different way, one of acceptance, compassion, and embracing our wholeness, flaws and all. Life is a process of growth, learning, and developing all the time. There is no perfect, finished state to reach. Let go of the need to be perfect, and you give yourself freedom to be human, make mistakes, learn, and grow. You let yourself be open and honest, which helps you connect with others on a deeper, more real level. Imagine how freeing it would be to just be yourself, without having to keep up a perfect outside appearance. This doesn't mean giving up on improving yourself, or trying to be the best. However, it changes that striving from a desperate need to make up for feeling inadequate into a joyful discovery of your abilities. It means noticing your progress, enjoying small steps forward, and being kind to yourself when things don't go as planned. It means realizing that your worth isn't based on how well you do something, but on how brave you are and what you bring to the world. Accept your flaws, your journey, and your oddities. You're not weak because of these things. They're just a part of who you are. Being true to yourself gives off a real warmth that makes real connections possible and gives you the power to live a more free and joyful life. It's enough to be yourself in all your changing beauty. You are more beautiful than any imagined perfection. Real happiness isn't something you can get from the outside world. It's something you have to grow inside yourself. People often think wrongly that being happy and content depends on having certain things, like a certain job, a certain relationship, a certain amount of money, or reaching a long-held goal. Because of this, we are always on the lookout for something outside of ourselves that will finally bring us happiness. But the deep spiritual understanding is that real happiness comes from an inner state, a trained way of being that stays the same no matter how things change in life. Imagine that there is a deep, quiet well in your heart. The water in this well is always clean and refreshing, and you can drink it. This well of inner happiness doesn't run dry when things are hard outside, and it doesn't overflow when things go well either. It is what it is, and it brings peace all the time. Gratitude is a practice that can help you fill this inner well. When you consciously recognize the simple blessings in your life, you change your focus from what you lack to what you have plenty of. It means being happy with what you have right now, like the sun's warmth, the sound of laughter, or the taste of a meal, instead of dwelling on the past or worried about what will happen in the future. You have to train your mind to see the small things that happen every day that most people do unnotice. This also means having equanimity, which means being able to handle both success and failure, happiness and sadness, with a calm and balanced mind. Emotions aren't something to hide. They're things to notice without getting caught up in them. The more your happiness comes from inside, the stronger you are. Events in the outside world can still make you happy or sad for a short time, but they don't have to control your overall happiness. You take charge of your own inner environment and stop seeking short-term pleasures from the outside world. When you work on your inner peace, you build a strong base that lets you interact with the world more fully and with a heart that is truly happy no matter what. The past can't be changed. It has both good and bad things, mistakes and feelings of sorrow. Still, a lot of us are still stuck in it, carrying its weight, experiencing its pain, and letting it control how we feel now and what we can do in the future. Keeping anger, guilt, or hatred inside is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. We can't fully embrace the changing power of the present moment because it holds us back and drains our energy. Real freedom comes from realizing that our past does affect us, but it does not define us, and that we have the power to choose how to deal with it right now. Forgiving others and yourself in the past doesn't mean you agree with what they did or forget what happened. It means letting go of the mental hold that past events have on you. Admitting that you deserve to be free from the weight of old stories is a very self-kind thing to do. This kind of forgiveness makes a huge place for healing and growth. When you let go of the past, your attention automatically moves to the present, which is the only place where real power exists. Your future is being shaped by every breath, choice, and move you make right now. Tomorrow is made up of the things you do today, the thoughts you have, and the acts of kindness you show. You are not a slave of your past. You are the one who makes your future happen. This old advice gives you the power to learn from your mistakes, pull out the lessons, and then choose a new way to move forward. It means accepting what was and making peace with it. Then you put all of your energy into making what can be. What will happen in the future is not based on what went well or poorly yesterday. It is shaped by the decisions you make right now. When you accept this fact, you enter a world of endless possibilities. You are no longer limited by the past, and you have all the power to make a future that fits your deepest hopes and values. Being in charge of the world around you isn't what gives you the most freedom. Being in charge of your own mind is. We often waste a lot of energy trying to change the outside world by hope that people will change their behavior. that events will go exactly as we want them to, or by being upset when things don't go our way. Even though it makes sense to focus on the outside world, it always ends up making us feel frustrated, let down, and helpless because the outside world is uncertain and mostly out of our control. But there is one area that you have complete control over, your inner environment. These are your ideas, feelings, and perceptions. You can shape and grow them. In this deep spiritual insight, it is shown that how your mind analyzes and reacts to events in your life determines how you experience them. Think of your mind as a lovely garden. To grow peace, joy, and wisdom, you can put seeds. To grow anger, fear, and negativity, you can let weeds take root and choke out everything else. The weather outside will keep sending sun and rain, but the growth of your garden inside rests on how well you take care of it. To practice this control, you have to pay attention to your thoughts without believing them or acting on them right away. It means realizing that a tough situation might make you feel very strongly, but you can decide how long that feeling lasts or whether it sets the tone for your actions. It means making your mind cool and clear even when things are going crazy around you. Mindfulness and focused attention are two practices that can help you train your mind to be less reactive and more receptive, less turbid and more calm. This inner practice isn't about hiding your feelings. It's about being aware of them, letting them go, and keeping them from getting in the way of your inner peace. Things outside of your control can't bother you when you really master your mind. As life's waves crash around you, you become an unmovable island of peace. When you understand that your true peace doesn't come from anything outside of yourself, you are truly free. This is the key to handling any situation with grace, resilience, and a lasting sense of well-being.